Hi, everybody. Good evening. How are you doing? I I had the wrong one queued up. Give me just a moment. I have the one for tonight here. Alrighty, here we go. I'll be right back. I hope everybody has had a good day. There's some really interesting things to go over on what was filed on this case. Yeah, I've been sleuthing. A lot of other people have too. See you in just a moment. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. All right, thank you very much for being here tonight. I've got like 15 million things going on at home with my family, and I almost had to move this back, but I think I can make it work. All right. So as you guys know, or you may not know, I'm not sure if you've seen the new documents or not, but there are new documents on the Idaho 4 case, and I'm going to go over. It's not very long, the part that we need to go over, and then I'm going to show you some stuff. This is crazy. This case is totally going to be a battle of experts. And I know that right now, a lot of people are really convinced that this expert is the end all be all. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that impression too. Yeah, for sure. So let me say hi to you guys just really, really quick. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry, I've been running around for like 2 hours straight with my family doing other stuff, and I am kind of worn out physically right now. Errands and mom taxi stuff. So I had to run in the door, and I've only been home for like 5 minutes. So I think I have all my tabs up. I think I'm ready to go. I'm so sorry. Normally I am sitting here like totally waiting and prepared for the last half hour, but life doesn't always happen like that, right? Okay, so hi, Pam. How are you doing? Welcome, Lori. Thank you so much. Yes. Hang on, let me see. Is it, oh goodness. I'm probably going to really mess up your name. Hold on. Ooh, and I'm good at pronouncing names. Shelly Matange? I know I probably totally messed that up. I am so sorry. Give me an E for effort. W. Smith, welcome. Yes, I cannot wait for this. It is starting to begin. There's a very big hearing coming up in May. It is the defense's motion to compel, and that most of these little hearings have been, just a little nugget here or there that's kind of really interesting to hear. The one in May, Cy Ray, the defense expert, will be there to testify. And it's going to be, I can already tell you, it's going to be pretty big. Just based on, if you look at this case from both sides, you look at it as if you're pro state or pro defense. Either way, it is going to be crazy. And I'm going to show you a few things that I have found on this expert that they're going to be bringing to testify and what I think is going to happen as well. So welcome, Debbie Smith. Hey, Sasha, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And I really thank you so much, Pam, for everything. You're really wonderful, wonderful lady. Let me get these documents pulled up, and then we are going to go over them. Nope, YouTube, I don't need you. All right. Where's my short one? Okay. That's the only thing I didn't get done was my download of the documents pulled up. Let me get them. Notice of, here it is. Okay. When I read this, I was like, are you serious? All right. And I'm going to show you another creator's reaction. I was rolling when I watched what he put out, and I'm going to show you that as well. Let's pull this up here. Okay, this one. All right. Yeah, normally I have all my tabs ready to go, everything ready to share. I'm so sorry. You know how it is, though. Okay. So I'm going to quickly read over the document, and then we'll just go right into things, okay? So this is filed by Bryan's defense team, notice of defendant's supplemental request or supplemental response to state's alibi demand. So the deadline for them to file was the 17th. And they filed it 20 minutes before close on the 17th. You talk about last minute. This is the last 20 minutes. And both sides are the same way. They are the exact same way. And it's completely normal. Completely normal. I know a lot of people have been, oh, they're not giving them what they want. No, they don't until they absolutely have to. That's how they win on either side. You hold out, you hold your cards until you absolutely have to show them. And it's brilliant for them. It's just frustrating as hell for us, Okay, comes now Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorney of record, Ann C. Taylor, public defender, and hereby files the supplemental response to the demand for alibi and in compliance with Idaho Code 19519 and Idaho Criminal Rule 12.1. Now, I'm going to read this, and then I am going to pull up another creator when they read this. It was hilarious. Is there... hold on. Me needs a bigger laptop. Is there a... Oh, okay, she got you. She answered that. Okay. Mr. Kohberger moved to Pullman, Washington in June of 2022. I know that's been a big question. Like, when did he move there? As an avid runner and hiker, he explored many areas of the Palouse. Of note, he explored Wawaway. I think that's right. Park in July of 2022, and this became a favorite location. After the school year began, Mr. Kohberger was busy with classes and work at Washington State University, and his running and hiking decreased, but did not stop. Instead, his nighttime drives increased. You have to kind of read that 2 or 3 times to see what they're saying. Like, hiking actually ended up, if you read it, like, what? Hiking has nothing to do with his alibi because he wasn't hiking. So watch what they go on to say. I'm like, why did you even bring hiking into this? If you're looking at it from the state, it had nothing to do with it because they said hiking decreased, but did not stop. Instead, his nighttime drives increased. This is supported by data from Mr. Kohberger's cell phone, showing him in the countryside late at night and or in the early morning on several occasions. The phone data includes numerous photographs taken on several late evenings and early mornings, including in November, depicting the night sky. What? Hi, Marietta. How are you doing? Good to see you. So I have a couple of things to say about that. I intended to pull up a few of my own personal photos. I'm going to peek while I'm playing a video in just a minute and see if I can find them. That's going to go along with this quite well. As I said, you guys, if you know me, I really try to assume both sides are correct and look at it from each perspective. And I can understand what they're saying here. Okay, Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, as he often did to hike and run and or see the moon and stars. He drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawaway. Y'all, I can't with that. Partial corroboration. Mr. Kohberger intends to offer testimony of Cy Ray. He's a cell phone expert, and I have some information that I have found positive and negative about him. So I'm going to show you guys that when we get there. To show that Bryan Kohberger's mobile device was south of Pullman, Washington, and west of Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022, that Bryan Kohberger's mobile device did not travel east on the Moscow-Pullman highway in the early morning hours of November 13th, and thus could not be the vehicle captured on video along the Moscow-Pullman highway near Floyd's cannabis shop. So that, if you're as obsessed with this case as a lot of us are, I saw that and thought, wait, so they're talking about let me look at my notes here so I can make sure I word this right, because I had to go back and look. We've heard Logston mention this several times, right? Or a couple of times, kind of throwing out that little nugget. I believe there's 2 things that I believe that Cy Ray is going to be testifying about. He's going to be the one about this portion. I believe he is going to say that, let me see. He's going to say that Payne got it wrong in the documentation. He is going to say he can prove that the first vehicle, suspect vehicle 1, near the marijuana shop is not his Elantra. He's probably also going to claim that Payne got the loops mixed up, because if you remember, Logston has mentioned a couple of times something about the vehicle going the wrong way. And I've always been curious about that. But that's the part that I'm most interested in And I wonder if they had this expert at that time that Loxton said that. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that the discovery requests that Ann Taylor has put in that are sealed so we can't see them is going to be for traffic light footage right there at that location. They think that footage is being withheld. I don't know. Don't know. It's interesting. But if it exists, if there's actually footage of a vehicle at that intersection, it could prove that the first vehicle, suspect vehicle 1, near that marijuana shop was not his Elantra. And again, I think he's going to say that Payne got his loops mixed up or turned around. So I think that that's what they're talking about. And this document goes on to say a little more about that. It says additional information as to Mr. Kohberger's whereabouts as the early morning hours progressed, including additional analysis by Mr. Ray, will be provided once the state provides discovery request, and now subject to an upcoming motion to compel. If not disclosed, Mr. Ray's testimony will also reveal that critical exculpatory evidence further corroborating Mr. Kohberger's alibi was either not preserved or has been withheld. So they're saying that there's footage. That's where I get the hunch that they're talking about footage right here where it says he could not be the vehicle captured on video. And I know I had the maps pulled up and everything. I was going to spend a lot of time looking at the maps, but there are 3 cameras right there. And I believe that that's the footage that Ann Taylor's fighting hard to get her hands on to see see more. And I also don't understand why the state hasn't just handed that over. If it exists, I suppose, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would they not just hand that over? So now they went ahead and attached his resume and everything. Don't really need to go into all of that. I'm just going to show you a couple of websites that has basically all of this on it anyway. Now, because this is a pretty big one, I'll upload it into the Facebook group as well. So let me show you guys a few things on this. Give me just a moment. This one, okay. So just on a personal note, I was looking through Facebook and I came across this and I was like, how ironic. This guy loves taking late night photos of the sky. So we go down here. I mean, granted, that's gorgeous. I mean, the very guy that says he's got, proof that Bryan Kohberger was out taking pictures of the moon and stars at night, he likes to do the same thing. And what's funny is so do I. I love it. One of my passions is nighttime time-lapse photography of the stars and the moon and comets and shooting stars. If you set your time lapse properly, you can catch some really cool stuff. So I am going to play a video really quick, and I'm going to look at my Google Photos for just a moment, because this is Cyray, and I don't know if I can find it in time, and I do apologize that I had to be out today, but I'm going to go over and see if I can find a couple of mine that I've taken, because as I've said, I want to see his side as well. I know I haven't convicted Bryan in my head. I don't think that he's innocent. I don't think that he's guilty, And I try really hard to see things from both perspectives rather than just declare a side. It's more fun to just not and wait and see how it kind of unfolds. Now, do I think this document that they filed about the moon and the stars is effective? It's funny, I'll tell you that much. It has made a lot of people literally crack up, you know. So let me pull up one thing here. So you guys are probably familiar with the Pascal show. He did a live this morning, I believe. Or was it last night? Let me take a look. I believe it was this morning. Okay. He kind of does a dramatic reading, okay? And I was rolling. Let me see if I've got the right timestamp here. And I know he doesn't care if you share little parts of his stuff as long as you give him credit and a thank you and all that. So thank you so much to Pascal. Let me find it. Give me just a second here. Done. Okay. I have the closed caption on, and so I could help me find it. So I am ready. I'm going to play this. It's hilarious. I just love this so much. So I'm going to play this for a couple of minutes and peek into my Google Photos while this is playing. Alrighty.
A supplemental response to the demand.
All right. Sometimes my audio doesn't work very well, so just give me a 10 for somebody, just one person, and let me know if the audio is good on this. And I will let him read just a little bit of it. We'll watch him read a little bit, and then we'll go from there. I mean, this was funny. And I love that he says mother lover. Okay, one moment.
And for alibi in compliance with Idaho code blah. And
he uses a lot of blah, 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 blah. Was that audio okay before I go ahead and play? Let me check here. Hey, Pam, is that audio right? Sure, I've got it all the way up. So I love how he reads all this. I'm not going to play all of it, just a little bit of him reading a little bit because it's funny. While I pull up a couple of photos I want you guys to see. And then we're going to look at both sides of Cy Ray.
Idaho Criminal Code 12.1. Okay? Mr. Kohberger, Coco, who loves to see the moon and the stars. I mean, I wonder if he's like up there, like practicing some sort of soliloquy or something. Like, is he writing Shakespeare?
I mean, if you cover true crime, you have to giggle in certain areas, you know. But too funny. Just want to make sure the audio is working.
Is he working on a new poem? Is he painting some sort of gorgeous, elaborate landscape oil painting of the like his own version of Starry Night or something? Like, why would he need to be there at that time of night? Period. I'm just saying. It just doesn't make any sense. He's out there to be or not to. Like, what is he doing out there? For a run? For a light jogging?
To be or not to be.
Okay. Coco moved to Pullman, Washington in June of 2022. As an avid runner and hiker, he explored many areas of Palouse. Of note, he has explored why? I don't know how to pronounce that, guys. Park in July of 2022. And this became his favorite location. After the school year began, Coco was busy with classes and work at Washington State Universities, and his running and hiking decreased, but did not stop. Instead, his nighttime drives increased.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so I'm going through my Google Photos, trying to find a few that I can show you guys, because nighttime photography is very much a thing. Nighttime hikes are very normal. If you're not somebody who does it, you don't get it, but a lot of us hike at night. There have been many times that I have started my hike deliberately to time when I was going to be at the top of a certain hill to see the sunrise, It's very common, it's very normal. I used to do it a lot. I'm looking through right now my photos. I can't just share my screen while I'm doing this, but I have taken some really cool photos as well. I'm going to show you just a few of them. So give me a second. I'm going to save just a few, and then I'm going to pull them up for you. Because this whole thing with nighttime hikes and photography, I know a lot of people are laughing, and it is kind of funny to laugh at, but it's a thing. It's actually a thing, and I'm crazy about the moon and stars myself. Dang it. So there's a couple of these that I can't share because they are elsewhere public. I ain't gonna dox myself because the people who have taken my photos and reversed image searched them. Okay, so I used to do this even more. Let's see. Here's a good one. I like to sit outside like during storms and capture photos of lightning. I've even caught, tornadoes. I got some really cool stuff on film. But I especially love nighttime and sunrise photography. Oh, here's a good one. Day or night. I just love doing this kind of stuff. So I totally get why somebody would go for a nighttime drive and stop and take photos. There's actually a Facebook group called I Pulled Over for this. There's an Instagram account for them. There's Twitter. There's hashtag IPOFT. If you look that up, people will go for long drives at night and daytime, whatever. And if they see something, a beautiful view, for example, they pull over, they take their photos, and then they share those in these groups and Twitter and stuff. And there's some amazing photos, totally unplanned. It's completely impromptu. Oh, here's a good one I got. And I used to just be obsessed with nighttime photography. Dang it, this one I can't show because it's literally going to show where I live. Oh my God. Aha, here's a good one. So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny. Granted, it's pretty funny. Let me get that off here. It is funny. However, it's not unheard of at all. I have so many really great photos that I took when we were in Alaska. Let me take a look. Nope, that one. Man, doctors, you suck so bad. Because there's a couple of these that I would love to show, but I can't. Dang it. So a lot of times when I go outside and take photos, I'm near my home. So I'm not showing any of those. What is this? I think I took a video. Yeah. All right. So let me get out of this and I'll show you just a few of these photos real quick that I've taken just to show you that it's not a big deal for anybody to take long drives, daytime, nighttime, middle of the night, before sunrise, etc., to get photos. It's just not. So it really is, if you're going to be fair and honest in covering this case, it is plausible that he took a drive to go check out the moon and stars. I've done it. Lots of us have done it. Let me move this out of the way now. Got to keep my tabs, but I don't want them in the window. There we go. All right. So a lot of people who take nighttime hikes especially like to go to very dark, desolate places where they're away from all the city lights so they can see things like this. Because if you get far enough out in the country, you can see all that. And it's gorgeous. I've seen this. Wouldn't you go for a hike to see that? It's amazing. This is normal for a lot of people. Here's one I just saved, not mine. You make excuses, I'll make magic. I love this. But yeah, I mean, this, you can see this when you go out far enough away from the city, you can see this. I have a couple here I can show you of mine. Bear with me because I want to just double check and make sure this isn't. Let me put up my little. Yes. Well, you can see a lot of it with your naked eye as well. Some of it just depends on what time you are there. And let me look here. What time you're there. So here's one. Hang on, I want to make sure. Let me take a peek at it first. God, I hate doctors. Right. Okay. So that's me. Look at that beautiful sky. What people don't, often think when they're standing with the sky, behind you, it's moving constantly because we're just spinning at 17,000 miles per hour, right? So the sky is moving. If you just lay down and watch something, you'll watch it just drift across the sky. So you can set up your camera to take a photo every so many seconds, and then you're going to get this amazing time lapse of the sky. And I love, love, love doing that. I'm not the expert on the settings on the camera, but I have friends who are, and we will literally go out on amazing trips just to catch this. This photo was at night, completely at night. And there's me. Um, I love doing that. I totally get why somebody would do it. Another passion of mine is sunrise photography. I'll show you just a few that I've taken. And you can't get these photos unless you're out there before the sun comes up, you know, well before the sun comes up. I absolutely love taking nighttime photos. I mean, look at that sky. And here's another one. But in order to get a photo like this, you have to be out there before the sun comes. And a lot of people don't want to. So you miss out on a lot. What I did notice in the documentation that Anne put, however, she didn't say that they have any kind of like photo that he took on that date. There's no mention of a specific photo taken on that date. And I noticed that. I was like, come on now. If you're using these nighttime trips as part of an alibi, you better have some photos or something, some kind of proof. And I'll show it again really quick. Then he moved there in June. As an avid runner and hiker, he explored many areas of the Palouse. He explored Wawa Park in July, and this became a favorite location. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I found about that park. After the school year began, he was busy with classes and work, and his running and hiking decreased, but did not stop, and his nighttime drives increased. And there's where they're saying they feel that they can prove he's not the suspect vehicle one, that he turned a different way to go to Wawa Park, and that's why they want the state's evidence from those cameras right there at Floyd's cannabis shop. And I totally agree. They should have already handed all that shit over. They totally should have. I don't know why they haven't, but they should, because it just makes the state look bad. It does. It makes the state look bad. But people have to understand they don't hand it over until they absolutely have to. Neither side ever hands over something. Hey, I'm just going to be nice. Here you go. Here's some evidence you can work with here. They don't do that. They never do that. They don't hand it over until they absolutely have to. They're not going to help each other, you know? So let me show you this. So I'm going to briefly go over really quick on okay, hang on. Okay, so who is Cyree? And I haven't played this update. I don't know why this page is so wonky either. I can't stay. Why in the heck is it? No wonder. That was bizarre. Okay. I'm going to go and play this. It's just 1 minute long. Right there, I thought my phone was ringing. One of hundreds of consultants who will tell you what you want to hear for money. Exactly. I totally agree. Absolutely. This trial is going to be a battle of the experts who can prove better their side. That's just, it's annoying, but that's how it always goes. But I love that comment. And thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. That music keeps making me think my phone's ringing. I'm just going to skip it. Okay. So it goes to explain that his defense team hired a cell phone expert, founder of ZX Corporation. He's a former police officer. He specializes in analyzing cell phone data in criminal cases. He is being called as a witness for this case, but he has also been called as a witness in numerous criminal trials in an attempt to show that a person's cell phone could have been in a particular area. He's done cases on both sides as well, which is interesting. His analysis relies on the pings that a cell phone sends to a nearby cell phone tower, even when the user is not making a phone call. Y'all know I just get through these quickly. All right, so this just kind of re-summarizes what Anne said in her filing. And let me see if this one's ready. Yeah. What is she saying? I don't understand the first part of your comment, Elizabeth. What do you mean? Okay. Bryan Kohberger's defense team provided new evidence of a possible alibi this week, which included new information on his movement on the night of, awful night. And always remember this is about Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Santa Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. That's what it's about. Let's see. This is a pretty long, detailed article. It goes over the mapping as well. So over in the PCA, it mentions, I had this pulled up on the map, and this is also going to be another point of contention for the hearing coming up. Kohberger's side says that it wasn't him going the way they claim that he was going. I don't know how they're going to prove that. We'll see, because the PCA says that the camera footage that they got of a white Elantra matches his cell phone movements. That's really big ask, Oh, what did I miss? Those are gorgeous. Is this it? Those are gorgeous photos. I don't have my glasses on, Tammy. I'm sorry. I do miss comments when I have my small laptop up with StreamYard. I don't have my channel up with the big chat where I don't need my glasses. So for me, I need to go. I have to do some kind of a refurbishing kind of thing on the other laptop that I have, because it won't run very many programs at once like this laptop will. But I apologize, I didn't miss that. Thank you. I hope you're still here. Hope you at least gave me opportunity to check that last one. All right, so Kohberger was seen on surveillance footage traveling north on Nevada Street and Northeast Stadium Way. So this is a really, really detailed, good article. I'm just going to drop the link in chat so you guys can read it if you want to. I don't want to get into every detail on that one because I'm just going to keep this for tonight short and sweet. There's a website you can go to look up expert witnesses. So this website, if you want to pay for it, you can. I don't know who they allow to purchase things like this, but it's pretty cool that you can get a screening report, an expert challenge study, or an expert witness profile. Depends on how much you want to spend. But it's got a lot of information about him. It says Cy Ray is a cell phone forensics expert witness from Arizona. He completed his schooling from the Round Valley High School in 1992. Currently, Cy Ray is the director of market planning at LexisNexis Risk Solutions. He is also an advisor at the National Child Protection Task Force. Interesting. Okay, so there was that one. And then there's also, I previously pulled up his Facebook that shows he also enjoys nighttime sky, moon, and stars photography, which a lot of us do, and I think that's really cool. It's kind of weird to, I guess it's kind of common, though. I was going to say it kind of feels weird to share an interest, such as that with Bryan Kohberger, but it's way more common than people assume. So when I was looking up some information on him, I found something from back in the day, only October of 2022, actually. It's not that far back. I couldn't get to the article because it's on subscription only, so I used my workaround so we can read it. A lot of people need to read this side of the conversation as well. I wish I could close this banner down here. But this was a big deal. A Colorado judge found sea of unreliability in cell phone mapping data used by police. So I wonder what's going to happen in this case. What Judge will be thinking and feeling about what Cy Ray puts out. And when it says used by police, watch this. Police and prosecutors in Colorado and throughout the nation are relying on a company's cell phone location mapping data to help them convict criminal defendants. But a Larimer County judge's recent ruling cast doubt on the technology when he barred its use in his courtroom after finding it unreliable and prone to error. The defense lawyer in that case and an expert witness for the defense say the ruling on the judge could have far-reaching consequences for past criminal convictions and pending criminal cases that relied on the company's cell phone mapping software. And they're talking about Cy Ray's company. Prosecutors and law enforcement throughout the nation have been using data provided by this application to show juries evidence and get convictions in criminal cases, says the defense lawyer Lee Christian. Now it's been ruled as junk science. How many juries were overly influenced by something not scientific and false? Still not sure. Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not convinced either way myself. The September 20th ruling from District Court Judge Juan Valles Sr. prohibited prosecutors from using cell phone mapping technology from a company founded by a former Arizona police officer in the trial of a 43-year-old defendant who was charged with 3 felony counts of stalking his former girlfriend. Prosecutors ended up dropping those criminal charges. though a jury ended up convicting the defendant last month in a companion case of a misdemeanor assault charge that did not hinge on cell phone location data. The judge did not take aim at the cell phone mapping data, which is widely used by law enforcement. Rather, his ruling was limited to, right here, tracks mapping software from Chandler, Arizona based ZX. This is Cyray's company, which produces aerial maps prosecutors and police use to estimate the location of a defendant's cell phone during an alleged crime. In 2021, the Analytics Data Corporation LexisNexis acquired ZX. So remember, he owned ZX. He sold it to LexisNexis. Now he's their marketing director. Interesting. In sum, tracks and its methods have been routinely and sharply admonished by the scientific and legal community, and the people haven't directed the court to any evidence showing otherwise. It's very likely that a jury would be misled by Trax's flashy maps and seeming accurate results, but underneath those surface displays lies a sea of unreliability that the jury won't see. So in that case, the judge said, nope, you're not bringing that into my courtroom, which I found super interesting to learn. That's why I always hop on Google and look as quickly as I can into somebody when they get mentioned on a case, like an expert or something like this, because within, no time at all of this kind of search results is going to be buried and harder to find. So I was really lucky to get a hold of that one because it was buried in all the search results and not easy to get a hold of. But, when you're looking at a case, you got to look at it, from both sides. And I totally understand the nighttime hiking and looking at the moon and stars. I love doing that myself. We just, for the solar eclipse, we made a whole day trip out of it just to see that, 10-minute total window, if you want to really stretch it out as far as you can. We turned that into like 10 hours. And it was fun. It was a whole day trip. And totally worth it, because I am going to be, 70? Next time one comes near here, I'll tell my husband we need to go to the next one. The next totality is going to be in like Spain and Greenland or something. Oh, it would be nice to be rich and be able to just travel the world and go see whatever you wanted, But if I had it my way, I would totally travel the world and see every solar eclipse ever. That is incredible to see in person. But I especially love going late at night all by myself. And I'm a girl. So he was fine if that's what he was doing out there walking alone. You're safer if you're way out and far away from everybody in a super dark area where you can enjoy the sky. It is amazing. You talk about, people always say, get some fresh air. There is no fresher air than just way out in the middle of nowhere in the dark looking at the sky. It's amazing. So I get that. Can they prove it? I don't know. Don't know if they're going to be able to prove any of this. It is really weird. So I want to bring this up really quick. I really enjoyed his coverage of this. Please check out that lawyer we all know. So he put up an hour video on this. And then let's see. Court TV did just a quick one. It's just 7.5 minutes. Why is it not letting me copy? Oh, because I don't have it hit. So Court TV did just a quick one. And also Law and Crime Network did one. And it's only 12 minutes. So I tried to find some short clips on this, short segments, so that, you can come through, just kind of update on everything that's happened. Let me check just kind of out of curiosity, see if there's anything new filed on the case before I go. Okay, let me close that. And again, don't miss out on this subject, on these court documents, and the way he read things. I really enjoyed this so much. I watched parts of it 2 or 3 times. Really good video today by Pascal. So please be sure to check him out too. So you guys, let me just check my notes really quick. I had so much going on today. I should have just pushed this back another hour. So again, Cy was the one who created the software for geolocation. The big question is going to be how reliable it is. Ann Taylor is wanting that footage by that marijuana shop. So, I remembered what I was going to show you guys. When I was reading this, I was going to look at it from the state side, which I haven't even done yet here too much. So Ann Taylor is wanting more information before she gives more information. So if you're looking at it like, I'll tell you more, like they want to know where was he? Where was he? And it's up to them to disclose that information, but they don't want to until they get this discovery from the state. And I understand both sides. Again, they don't have to hand over anything until they absolutely have to. So, and I already know some channels are saying, I believe, what Ann Taylor's saying. It sounds totally legit to me. And then other people who are just literally laughing about it. Both are correct. So, and I try to look at it from the state side as well. And, with all these people going, I love taking nighttime drives and stopping and taking photographs and all that. I get that. But have you ever turned your phone off and then your DNA shows up at a quadruple murder scene? How'd that happen? It is weird. You have to admit that it is weird that he was, in fact, out driving alone with no real proof of where he was other than cell phone data. Really? He didn't take one photo that night? I mean, if he had taken just one photo at, 4:05 way south of Moscow, he would have been out of jail a long time ago, right? But nope. His phone was off during this time. Why? Why would you turn off your phone? If you're out there, unless they're going to bring in testimony about, did he have another camera? Because I take my Canon with me when I'm out doing photography, but I don't turn off my cell phone. I'm not alone in the middle of the night with my cell phone off. And then the very same night, your DNA just happens to end up on a knife sheath right next to a victim who, it just doesn't make any sense. That does not make sense. Yes, DNA floated in through the windows, 10 kb, right? I mean, come on. And when I was reading this, somebody else put out a little video that was so funny, making fun of Bryan Kohberger. I'm not going to share it. It was funny. It was the old song, UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. You know that one? It was really funny. I'm not going to share it, but you can find it. It's pretty entertaining. But Ann Taylor really, really, really wants to know how the state connected Bryan to this crime. They really want to know that. They need that information. And I think the IGG could also be brought up at this next hearing. I don't know. But they want to know how the state connected to Bryan. Clearly, they did IGG. They may have made some shortcuts to find his father's DNA on there. We don't know. But it's going to matter for trial. It really will end up mattering. You know, you could, as Pascal was even explaining today, and that lawyer, and a couple others, everybody's pointing out the same thing. You can walk on a technicality, just a technicality. I've wondered that as well, Becky, like maybe his phone wasn't off and they're just not telling anybody, or maybe he was using some sort of Faraday case. Maybe it wasn't off. There's certain things that you can like put your phone in to stop, because law enforcement uses those as well. I don't know how it happened. I don't know. But her saying she's not going to give more information. Like the state is basically asking picture the state as mom. And Ann Taylor is, in the role in this example, because I'm not calling her a child by any means. She's a fantastic attorney. But it's mom asking the kid, what do you think you're doing? And what are you doing? And it just rang a bell for me. Like it reminded me of my own children when they were growing up. I'd catch them doing something like eating Doritos behind the couch or painting their face with ketchup, and I'd be like, what are you doing? And, kids, I have a little clip here that I just think is just cute because I think it uploaded. Yeah. Okay. So this just reminded me, this sounds like kind of a version of what's going on. Just to interject a little bit of humor. I'm just going to play this really quick. So most of us are moms. I'm going to play this really quick. This sounds like Ann Taylor in a way, but in a legal way.
And the one question to end all questions, what do you think you're doing? Well, it doesn't matter what I think I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and I'm not going to get in trouble for what I'm doing or what I think I'm doing. I'm going to get in trouble for what you think I'm doing. So the question that we need to deal with here is not what do I think I'm doing, what do you think I'm doing? I need this information if I'm going to come up with a decent lie.
Right there. That is basically Ann Taylor saying, doesn't matter what you think my client's doing. Or it doesn't matter what my client thinks he was doing. What do you think my client was doing? I need all of that information. I want the IGG. I want all the cell phone data. I want the CAS data. Everything that you have. I need that information if I'm going to come up with a decent defense for my client. It's the same thing, just legal ease, So, but if he wasn't in Moscow, then it wouldn't show up in Moscow. For which night? Oh yeah. I have seen people, talking about cell towers. I just agree to disagree on some of that stuff, because I just don't think that that's fully accurate. That's all I can say. 'Cause there's, I don't know. I don't want to go down that road, honestly, because it's too technical for most of us to even understand. And we're going to have to wait for a trial for the opposing experts to get up there and battle it out. None of us could even begin to actually explain, nor do any of us have access to the actual evidence that they have access to. So a lot of people have just kind of assumed things about the cell phone towers and what information that you could get from them. And I disagree with some of it out there. And I don't want to get more specific only because then I don't want anybody to think I'm like, I've just had it with the BS. So I'm trying to, keep my head down, stay in my lane, like you're supposed to. And I find it, now I'm getting a little upset. So I'm going to go because, somebody said something to me that all of the like 2 months of harassment and slander that I have been going under, that I'm not damaged in any way because my subscription has increased. The number of subscribers that you have doesn't mean anything to how many are actually in your chat, right? You guys, if you have been with me for any period of time, you would know that I, previous to this, had a lot of people in my chats. Now look, this right here is proof of my damage. Right here. This is proof of my damages. So, it's a little disheartening, really disheartening, but I am going to keep moving forward, and those who are choosing to try to harm me, just documenting and moving forward. I'm done with trying to argue with idiots. They're not worth it anymore. Anyway, I am going to go. Y'all have a good night. And to those of you who have watched this, I really appreciate you very much. If anybody has any questions about anything related to what I just briefly brought up, I don't want it here on my channel. You would need to email me. It's been a lot, and I'm trying to stay strong and keep moving forward, which is all we can do, right? So thank you so much. You guys have a good night, okay? Bye, everybody.